Cognify, Episode 7, Red Tide, The Analog Tapes, Dispatch 007. I'm looking at the map and the board is lighting up. When I first climbed up to this roof and spliced the coaxial cable, I was transmitting into the blind. It was just me, a battered ham rig, and the dead air of a nationwide blackout. The state had choked the digital grid, assuming that if they cut the fiber optics, the entire country would just sit in the dark and wait for instructions. They thought we forgot how to speak without a screen. They were wrong. Over the last few weeks, this pure analog carrier wave has multiplied. It didn't happen through a viral algorithm. It didn't happen because an app pushed a notification to your phone. It happened because copper remembers what circuits forget. It happened person to person. I am picking up relay nodes in Chicago. I am hearing repeating stations in the Texas Panhandle. I am tracking a chain of localized hand-cranked transmitters stretching from the ports of Long Beach all the way up the Pacific coast. We aren't just a handful of ghosts in the static anymore. We are a network. I spent my time in the Marine Corps maintaining air traffic control systems. I didn't spend my deployments kicking down doors. I spent them keeping the radar spinning in the dirt. I spent them maintaining the infrastructure that allowed the birds to navigate the chaos and land safely. Because of that, I know exactly how a grid operates. I know how data is routed. I know where the choke points are. And most importantly, I know exactly how a centralized system fails. Elias and his architects in the Panopticon built the ultimate centralized system. The Cognify machine is designed to be the single undisputed control tower for human memory and compliance. They want to funnel every dissident, every broken citizen, and every questioning mind into one glass room, rewrite their soul, and send them back out. But you cannot rewrite a decentralized network. You cannot arrest the analog wave. The people tuning into this frequency aren't soldiers. They are the people the system discarded. They are the middle-class workers who watched algorithms hollow out their careers. They are the families who had their savings incinerated by the inflation crisis while the suits skimmed the Strait of Hormuz tolls. They are the single parents, the mechanics, the line cooks, and the dock workers who finally realized that the state is not coming to save them. You stopped waiting. You executed the pivot. You became operators. We are calling this network the red tide. In nature, a red tide is an algae bloom. It happens when the conditions of the water change, when the temperature and the pressure hit a specific tipping point. It isn't planned. It doesn't have a commanding officer. It is an organic, unstoppable reaction to an environment that has become deeply toxic. it spreads, and it chokes out the establishment. That is what we are building. If you are listening to this, you need to understand the architecture of what is keeping us alive. We are surviving because we are operating as a completely decentralized system of autonomous agents. The state is terrified of us because they don't know how to fight a movement that doesn't have a head to cut off. They are looking for a central server to hack. But there is no server. Our server is a cassette tape passed in an alleyway. Our server is a hand-drawn map of the Chicago rail switches. Our server is a transistor radio powered by car batteries. Listen to me. Raw isn't volume, it's reach. The old world tricked you into thinking that power meant having 1 million followers on a digital platform. The algorithm trained you to value volume, but volume is fragile. A policy update can delete 1 million followers in a fraction of a second. The digital guillotine drops and you are erased. Reach is different. Reach is the physical, unbreakable connection you have with the 3 people on your block. Reach is knowing exactly who holds the hand crank radio in your neighborhood. Reach is the deep analog friction of human trust. Flow beats force. The state is trying to use the brute force of the Cognify machine, but we are moving like water. We are finding the cracks in their blackout and filling them with copper. But you need to be ready for what happens next, because the board is lighting up. The state knows we are here. The digital blackout failed to silence us, which means they are going to escalate. They are realizing that they cannot jam the copper wire from a command center in Washington. They're going to have to come out into the streets to find us. We are moving into a pressure cooker. The sweeps are going to start. They will deploy extraction teams to hunt the nodes. They're going to try to drag us into the glass room, one by one, to flip our internal boards entirely white. You're going to be tested. When the fear hits, I want you to remember the sand. I want you to remember the grind. Resilience isn't about ignoring the pain. It is about staring the pain in the face and refusing to back down. You keep moving. You bleed if you have to, but you refuse to surrender. We are not just trying to survive the winter. We are preparing to break the machine. Inauguration Day is coming. January 6, 2028. It is not going to be a protest. It is going to be a definitive physical dismantling of a corrupt system. We are going to take this red tide and we are going to crash it into their glass cathedral. Do not let them smooth out your edges. Maintain your nodes. Protect your copper. The breach is coming. 2 futures remain. The storm decides nothing. You do. Keep it analog. Keep it human. This is Ace Rivera standing by. This is It's Just Raw.